Mr. Loo, the stock market has a bloodbath yesterday, man. Wow, I make so much money and now it seems we're all going to be vaporized soon. Should I run for my life not? Should I sell? What should I do? And some people say, Mr. Loo, can buy now, can buy not. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today I'm going to share with you what my perspective are on what happened yesterday night. It was a serious decline, but I think there's a lot of things that we should see once we peel the onions. Really, today I aim to answer the question, why is there a stock market crash yesterday night? And more importantly, is it an opportunity or is it a crisis that we must face? And what does the history tell us? And let me tell you at the end of the video what I would do. These are my usual disclaimers, and please watch on. Yesterday, the stock market went down significantly. The S&P 500 went down 2.3%, and the NASDAQ went down by a frightening 3.65%. But some people might say, yeah, it's only 2-3%. Why do you call it a crash? Well, let's put in the perspective, right? I recall when I was in 2008, so 2007, 2008 crash. In the beginning of crash, it does look like that. COVID crash, the first few days looked like that, and then it went down to a 7% a day crash. So these actually have the smell of a serious crash coming. And I can understand why some people who have gone through those periods will look at this and say, wow, this is very serious, right? I want to say that this is not insignificant. This is a serious price drop, okay? Serious price drop. It's got flavor of a stock market crash in the making. Just like we have been experiencing a very incredible stock market bull run that was driven largely by tech. This sell-off is also driven by tech. And the tech sell-off, as you can see, is largely led by first NASDAQ. And those same NASDAQ Magnificent 7 is not so magnificent anymore, is also causing S&P 500 to go down. The Magnificent 7 stocks fell on average of 4.6% in one day. And they constitute 30% of the S&P 500. So therefore, the S&P 500 also went down. For example, Apple went down by 3%. Tesla went down by a frightening 12%, and we're going to talk more about it. Nvidia went down by 7%. Google, Alphabet went down by 5%. Amazon went down by 3%. Meta went down by 6%. Microsoft went down by 4%. It's really a big downward swing of the Magnificent 7, which is not so magnificent anymore. You can also infer that whatever was magnificent in a downward turn, they become disastrous. So this is now the disastrous 7 in one day. Now, the question really is, what should we do, right? All the while, for the last 1 year or so, there's always been a widespread belief that there's going to be a correction in the Magnificent 7. It's not a matter of will, it's a matter of when. And right now, the when is here. But there are strong beliefs by analysts that this sell-off is just a correction of the Magnificent 7. It's not going to spill over in a big way to the rest of the entire stock market. And it's because there are strong fundamentals in the economy. So therefore, I think analysts actually don't think that this is a big sell-off. The fear index called the VIX actually went up quite significantly, plus 50% in one day. This index is a measure of the Wall Street fear, and it has gone up quite significantly, and it deserves some attention. When the VIX goes up by 50% is really quite a serious matter. So the question really is, so what's the bad news, right? It's all driven this time not by politics, not by elections, but really by earnings reported by Alphabet and Tesla. Well, Alphabet, which is Google, the earnings and income actually beat expectation. So everybody should be happy about it, right? Well, unfortunately, there is a much slower growth in ad revenue and much higher spending on AI, which the investors are not very sure how or when it's going to pay off. So there is a strong reaction to this signal. For example, Alphabet's ad sale grew 11% from a year earlier. The 11% is lower than the 13% in the previous quarter, and people start to believe that everything is slowing down. This is despite the revenue actually beating analyst forecasts and the income actually rising more than what the analysts have forecast. On the other hand, they seem to have sunk a lot of money into AI to try to beat the rivals in artificial intelligence. And it is an expensive initiative. Some investors are actually quite doubtful about it. As a result, the stock market beat up Alphabet's stock price. Tesla was the big disaster. Tesla's revenue and earnings was lower than expected. First of all, the much anticipated and hopeful robo-taxi was delayed. Their electric vehicles profits have dropped due to price cut, I think largely in China, and there's a price war there. And right now, this price war seems to be spilled over. Incidentally, in Singapore, the electric car market now has seen a strong entrance by BYD. And this is a very interesting sign that even in Singapore, the competition is heating up with the Chinese EV competitors. So Tesla stocks sink quite significantly. Their profits have dropped by 45% for a second straight quarter. So all bad news at Tesla, and there are a lot of Tesla bulls right now has become little calves. I don't think you'll be that bullish after this. So the key question right now is, what's going to happen to the stock market? Is this a sign that we're going to have a major crash that's coming? Is it going to be 20%, 30%, 50%? Is it going to last a long time? Is it going to be 1 month, 2 months? Well, it's kind of difficult to say, but let's take a chapter from history, shall we? And let's see what history tells us. This is a very interesting chart. It represents the dot-com bubble. The dot-com bull run before it crashed lasted somewhere between 1995 all the way to 2000. In between this bull run of a mega 250% was many retracements. And right now we are facing what I think is a retracement. And if you look at it, there were retracement of varying percentages. Could be as small as about 4% or 5%, and it could be as significant as 22%. But I would say on average, it looks between 4 to 13, 15% or so. So I think the 22% is more abnormally, but up to 10, 13% is not uncommon. So I would imagine that the same history could easily repeat again in this current moment. It hit a high of 5,600 points. We should see it go all the way down, even to 5,000 points is likely. I'm not saying it will, it's possible. And let's prepare for this kind of volatility in the near future. Now, the other thing you want to take note of is that most of these retracement are not long lasting. Within 6 months, they'll recover. There are periods where the retracement take a lot longer, like of course this 22%. If you look at it, it almost lasts more than half a year. And there are some that like this period here, it actually takes a very long time as well. So retracement are possible, and you must have the stomach to bear with this kind of drawdowns that takes 3 to 6 months, up to 15% kind of thing. So I think this round, anything is possible. We right now have a lot of complexities involved. There is somewhat a political uncertainty with the presidential election. There is AI uncertainty as well. So all this combined together can shake the market confidence quite a bit. I would actually think that to sell is easy, to buy is very difficult, meaning that you don't know which point to buy. So there's no right or wrong in this, but for the S&P fund right now, I'm just going to hold on to it, knowing that there's a huge volatility ahead. The NASDAQ 100 is even more volatile. As you can see from yesterday, it fell very significantly, almost hitting 4% fall. And the NASDAQ easily retraced anything between 10 to 30%, right? It is quite a significant retracement that we are looking for. I would say that looking at this current time where much of the NASDAQ movements are consolidated and the Magnificent Seven, and this Magnificent Seven moves quite a lot, I would not be surprised to see the NASDAQ fluctuating, anything between 10 to 20% in the near future. So I would say that this is something we must prepare for, right? But if you can hold on, I'm not saying it will happen, but if you look at the dot-com bubble, it grew all the way by 1,100%, right? And right now, I don't think we're anywhere close to 10% of this 1,100%. So it grew by 11 times. I'll be happy for it to grow 2 or 3 times. But clearly in between them, as history tells us, there are tons of volatility, retracements. Retracements are part and parcel of bull runs, and we have to accept this retracement have what I call tahanability, right? If you want to reap the high returns of compounding of the stock market, you must have this thing called tahanability, right? Tahanability is a bastardized word that comes from word tahan and ability. So it's tahanability, you must be able to take it. So for me, I still believe that in the medium term, the stock market will return to a bull run. So I'm looking at maybe any number between 3 to 6 months, it will return a bull run. in between this period, there'll be huge amount of volatility. I'm just going to hold on to it, believing that what has happened over the last 100 years will continue, at least for this period. I also believe that interest rate cuts by the Federal Reserve that we have long been waiting for should be in the bag this year, maybe even two. So I think that this will be a good sign for the stock market. The unfortunate political uncertainty will add colors to this volatility. And I would advise everybody that, you need just got to brace for turbulence in this period. So in conclusion, Mr. Loo, I'm not selling, okay? I'm just warming up my dry powder. And if the retracement go to 15, 20%, very possible I'll add to my positions if the dip is low enough. Because I do believe that in the long run, the stock market is still on a trajectory of a bull run. So this is my position. I could be wrong. I'm not telling you what to do, but this is what I do. So let me hear your views, whether you share my views or not. And let me hear some of these comments, either in the YouTube section below, in the comments, or in the 1865 Telegram group. And thank you. And remember, always give a like and subscribe. We're going to cross 40,000 subscribers soon. If we do cross it, let's have a mini celebration, shall we? Thank you for all your support, and I'll see you in a day or two. Bye-bye.